one, you know, Cash being Big's map pick, I think it's going to be a map that, in all honesty, is fairly 50-50. Which doesn't bode too amazingly well for Big, if you want the honest truth. They've got some grafting to do. As you said, the last time these guys met on LAN, they actually lost to Flipside, so it is going to be interesting to see how this pans out.
Yeah, you got to take into account though that event at Leipzig. Obviously, Big was a very new roster at the time, so going into that matchup,
now they've had time to mature.
Yeah, exactly, and they've made the they've proven that they are a team to be reckoned with. Obviously, coming second place at the recent ESEA finals for the Mountain Dew League. So I think there's definitely going to be a good chance for Big to exploit. But as you said, the unknown quantity of Flipside is here because we haven't seen them play for so long. It's difficult to make a decision on how they're going to be, what they're going to be like. Flipside always seem to be that team that don't really play anything and then just come into the major, manage to get into through the qualifier and then get into the major and really achieve nothing. But they've played almost every major. I think Markolov's actually attended every single major at least. So it's a team that's always a force to be reckoned with, online and offline, even though we don't see them too much.
Yeah, definitely so. I think what they do is they boot up CS. Instead of screaming, instead of showing up to events, they just go into non-prime matchmaking, and then that's the true challenge. That's where real warriors are forged. Yeah, a little bit of a delay early on just to kick things off. Start as you mean to go on, as they say. But anyway, the unpause finally going to be called on in. I can't imagine it was a tactical at this early stage in the game, but you never know.
But yeah, this is the pistol. So this is a best of 3 for those wondering. Winner of this going to be going to play Heroic tomorrow in the quarters for the Cologne closed qualifier. A lot of pressure on these teams. We're in sort of the early stages here. We've got a lot of games going on alongside teams like Polaris, teams like Dignitas, K29, and we're going to be jumping right in. So Tabson, he's been playing phenomenally as of late. He's going to be going aggressive towards the A main to start things off, trying to look for a bit of a pick. Flipside damaging him. World Edit will take the first frag, and Flipside, I'm sure they're going to play off this pick and just burst A, but Big will call for the rotation and play more so for the retake towards Car.
Actually, Nex is already rotating into the site. He's the only player here to try and hold back the tide of Flipside as they push on through. He's doing the damage right now, finding the first, but instantly traded out by Markolov in towards Quadleg here in the smoke, and he's spotted out by World Edit as well, so he will go down. This retake just being butchered as Electronic annihilates Scott B on his push up through highway. It's all on Keeve, 1v4. And as he peeks on out, doing the damage onto one, and he wants a little bit more, trying to continue this reign of terror out through a main, but the bomb timer is ticking away. Gonna throw that decoy out to try and turn some heads, but no, it's not gonna work. Doesn't have the kit to play around with and walk into the waiting arms of Electronic. He will go down. That's Flipside to pick up the pistol. They keep 3 players alive. Well, that it doesn't even get hit, so he can afford a nice cheap investment into this next round.
Really weird round there from Big. Typically, if you get into that kind of situation where you lose a pick early on, you're going to want to play for retake on A. This is one of the sites that is just so easy to retake on the CT side. So seeing Big actually contest before the bomb was even planted is very interesting, but they did lose that man advantage, so maybe they were hoping to bring things back with Nexus aggression. That being said, it's just going to be the force from Big and the buy-up from Flipside as you would expect. Pistols and armor, a bit of utility, and a scout as well going to be brought up on Nexus. Flipside, they sit on a triple UMP double AK buy, so very well equipped to deal with this. Typically you're going to see a lot of SMGs in the current meta, but they're playing it fairly safe with a couple of rifles just in case, because Big are one of those teams, as most German teams are, known very well to pick up a lot of force buy rounds. We look at, for example, the old alternate attacks and the way that they picked up those deagles so commonly on the CT side, especially on Cash, a very German loved map. So Flipside got to be a little bit worried about that. They can't afford to throw away to an eco. Either way, they've done some early damage, got Beast tagged up, Legia as well. We have Nex close in middle with the scout looking to do the damage. Does tag down Blade, so whittling away a Flipside as these T's don't really have much control to play with. They're just sat outside of A main for the time being. Need to start converging onto some area, and mid will be that choice as the boost comes through. We will be seeing Blade as well grab the bomb, and they're going to be splitting up through A with a combination of Electronic coming in through highway late.
Yep, still just waiting. There's only 30 seconds after. They've got to be fast, and as you said, the boost's going to be coming over towards middle. 3 players now in A main with Markolov ready to try and come in through Squeaky. Already Electronic just going to get beheaded down in mid. Well, they did try and equalize things out as he entries in towards the A bomb site. Tabson trading back and forth, but is finally going to go down, and well, they did not done just yet. Picks up a second. It's a 2-on-2 in the retake. The bomb hasn't gone down just yet, and Nex gonna annihilate World Edit. Now it's all on Markolov, but 1v2. He does the damage downrange on the Nex, but he's got to make his way into the site and get that bomb down.
No time.
There's no time left, so it will be the round going the way of Big. That clock going to be the bane of Flipside's existence. Marklov does save the AK at least as a bit of a silver lining. There was a round that really was Flipside's to win, and Big, they do a great job of keeping them off the site long enough. The second that bomb got dropped and Marklov had to go get it, with the scout over by truck, it was near impossible for them to actually pick that one up. So they will just be force buying down over on the T side. Big gonna have everything they could possibly need. 3 UMPs, a scout, and the AK on taps, and to try and hold this back.
Yeah, but that's what we talk about. We say these German teams love their CT side force buys, and they get away with it perfectly. As you can now see, they are going to be leading this one in terms of weaponry, as you say, so Flipside very limited. And in this kind of buy, I would expect some kind of fast play from Flipside, maybe a burst, go for some kind of quick play towards A main. And it's very common to see force buys on the T side, where you just go for that full A smoke outside of main, and then perfect, you have the bomb down, and you typically can just play the post plants. But Flipside opting to go for a more slow approach as they sit outside of the A main. Big smoking them off for the time being, so we may see some kind of late play. But again, with so little control towards both middle and B, Big could realistically get aggressive here. They could start to push up, get themselves some information. Under Godby's leadership, they do like to play very slowly, but there is the option, of course, for some aggression on the CT side. And you can see World Edit's going to be slightly holding the back, but not properly, as he's only going there to throw the smoke in through middle. As Flipside, they set up again, as we say, for this burst play. They've got the smokes. They're going to be throwing them in towards the A site and hopefully just going for some kind of fast bomb plant. But look, Big already realised this. Look at the drawback from Tabson. He moves over through towards the car with his teammate next as well. They know that this is coming. They want to play for retake, but the question is, do they want to give the bomb plant away for Flipside, or do they want to contest?
Yeah, a bit of the old switcheroo as they put Nex in the site with that UMP, leaving Tabson watch from afar with the AK. Smokes and flashes now going to rain on in. Once again, Flipside leaving it very, very close. Markelov on the entry, just going to burn it to death. He will go down, and there's very little time left. Tabson drops the bomb, and at this point, they have to get it down sooner rather than later. Electronic in through the smoke does pick up one, trying to do more damage, but quickly traded out by Kiev. The bomb plant won't go down once again as they leave that clock far too late. Blade's going to go down after the time as well, and that's actually going to affect the economy in a horrible way. Well did it with $0 to his name. Blade with merely 50. And it's left Flipside in this very awkward situation whereby I think we're really going to have to see them force buy yet again. Because if they eco this next round out, 2 of the players won't even be able to buy. It
seems like the issues have been sorted out. Medic is done. Not sure about the scoreline being incorrect, but we're going to just assume that this is live now, considering that the players have the right weaponry. So pistol rounds have now been upgraded. In the latest Valve buff, all SMGs have been reduced to $600. And as you can see, Big are reaping the benefits on the pistol round.
As they wait over towards mid, well, they're going to get boosted on up. Leggy is spying this out with the scout. He has got B to try and back him up a bit of defense. They have the crossfire set up in middle. That nade going to find some damage. Well, that it's not looking too healthy. Tagged down to a measly 9 HP has got B. Playing up close in mid with that UMP. Has Leggy to try and trade things out when the push comes in. Rifle's been tossed over to Electronic, who takes the peek out towards middle. Already be tagged down to 7. Trying to land the damage on a Leggy, who keeps taking this peek. The rest of his team just waiting to see if anything can be opened up on the back of Electronic with this AK. And now it's been juggled onto Markelov. They're just throwing this back and forth, all taking peeks out in towards middle and all getting tagged down low. This time Markelov going to die. It's got B. Finds himself 2 with this UMP over in mid. There's still more players hanging around. Waylander going to go down on his push towards the B bomb site, and God B's not done just yet. Gets himself 3, looking for the 4th, and Electronic being on 7 HP. It wasn't looking good. It got B. He gets 4 frags over in mid. The kickstart this lengthy delay from Big. 3-1 as now they find themselves 2 rounds ahead.
So to keep everyone up to date, what happened is we actually continued from 2-1, so Flipside had really no money to play with. They had obviously 2 players who died in the previous 3 players who died and 2 players who saved, so that was the kind of messy buy around. This is now the eco. We're back in with a proper scoreline, 3-1. Next round's going to be the real buy, but this is just a formality. This is just a throwaway, as Big are ready to mow down the opposing Flipside players. Rushing into B they do go. Kiev takes 2, make it a 3rd as well. There we go, and Godby will clean up the others on the B site as well, so that's just a bit of a throwaway. Now we get into the real deal. So again, to update all the new viewers, apologies for the delays. We had issues with Blade's ping, but Flipside have sorted it out. So we're back into the game. Everyone's looking healthy ping-wise, as you can see. And we're into 4-1. So Big just leading this one, but Flipside are definitely not out. We're going for their first proper buy, and we'll be jumping into the game.
Yeah, and as you were saying, this first map, his big maps pick, it is going to be DE_lays. I mean, DE_cash. As Kiev now pushes on up in towards A main to try and take this early peek. He's got himself the AWP, and just looking over the top of the smoke, there are players here that he can try and find. tabseN going to push in with him, but tabseN will go down. Kiev has to try and get the refrag. He's still alive and kicking electronics here as well, but Kiev's not done just yet. Gets himself two. And there's no trade frag in sight for Flipside. Down in mid, Blade trying to do the damage onto Legia, does catch him on highway, tags him down to 22 HP, and going to continue this aggression. Has grabbed some control over towards middle, and looking like he could push in over towards Z, but no, not if Kiev is there. The cannon locking it down from the A-bomb site, gets himself the third, and now it's all on Markelov and Waylander.
Waylander, though, good position. He's pushed himself into the checkers room. I'm not sure if they're aware of this. Only got B on the site. He knows of the potential thanks to the smoke that he threw down, but he's not aware that Waylander is pushing in from the back, looking for this peak, trying to find the pick that can allow Flipside the entrance onto the B site. They have the smoke for CT Spawn and Markov, and it's all down to Waylander. He gets spotted, though. Only gets 20 damage. Nade in retort from God B. Still hasn't taken him down. The flash comes in, and that allows God B to fight. Does get the frag onto Waylander, and now that leaves Markelov alone and stuck in B main. Has to push through. Does get the first. Catches Legia pushing in. Godby now alone on the site with very low HP. Gets spotted. This is good information for Markelov, but he's got to watch his back. Kiev is there, but it doesn't matter because Godby's doing the damage on the site. And Big, they keep 3 players alive as well as they pick up a 5th round. That AWP on Kiev, absolutely phenomenal. He's currently 9-0. I'm not sure if these scoreboards are correct though. No, they're definitely not correct. So, yeah, let's just forget about the scoreboards.
You go, Byron. Sadly, yeah, Kiev isn't 9-0, God B isn't 9-0. We'll never know as to what they actually are, but all I can tell you is what they once were. As this time, Flipside, they've force-bought down what they can. It's going to consist of a couple of Galils, a UMP, an Electronic, and the AK for World Edit. This time it's 3 players over towards A early on, and they have to watch out. As this time, Kiew's made his rotation over towards B. He's playing there with the AWP, and it looks like Waylander was looking a little bit curious, but now going to look to rejoin his teammates over in mid. As they want to try and regroup up at this A-bomb site. Bomb's going to be moving around up behind them. They still leave Waylander to watch the flank when the bomb rejoins the rest of the team. And it looks like, I mean, all this is very indicative of an A hit, right? They've got everyone here with the exception of Waylander who's watching any aggression to come out over towards B. World Edit is making sure no one pushes them in A main, and now the smoke going to rain on through. Looks like they're going to boost the player up and towards mid, so I imagine we're going to then see Waylander and the player boosted try and converge out in towards middle. Legia here to try and hold this back. Kiev's rotated in, actually in towards Z as well. They have got a crossfire both in mid and on this A-bomb site.
Gotta worry about this mid split though. Kiev gonna strike first, takes down Waylander as Electronic continues to push up close. Legia takes him down, and already 2 players. The split from Flipside has been completely removed from the round. Blade does push himself out onto A to take down next, but there's still plenty of players in defense. Legia holding the highway, and the god that is tabseN as well, just tapping away, taking down Blade from default. World Edit and Markelov left standing. Is going to be 1 for tabseN, but that will be it. All onto World Edit now as he tries to pick up the clutch. 20 seconds left. Flipside may have left this one too late once again.
Getting up on top of the rafters. Legia's waiting in the corner with bated breath, but he's tagged down very low and will just walk out into the waiting gun of World Edit. He's still going to find 2 more frags. Both of them reside over towards Truck. He's going to pick up the first, turns it into the one-on-one. There's enough time for him to get the bomb plant. God B spots his arm out though, takes the peek, and he finds the frag. That was dangerously close, but rescued from a very, very dangerous scenario. It was God B to go ahead and win out that 1v1, saving the AWP as well. Big will be picking up a 6th. An amazing attempt though from World Edit, who gets the 3k, gets the bomb plant, and goes above and beyond what Flipside could have possibly expected from that round.
If he had more time, that could have been a doable clutch. He took it into a 1v1. The only reason was he was forced to go for that bomb plant, not knowing that God B would actually commit to the fight there, so had to play the safe option. Sadly for Flipside, another round that they only just lose because of time, and now Big are going to have such a good economy. Look at the money on the CT side. They've got players up around 10k here for Big. This is perfect. This is so good. They have money to fall back on. A Flipside finally do strike, but it doesn't look like that's anytime soon. Kiev taking down Waylander on B to start things off, and Flipside already losing out on the man advantage.
Equalize it. We return into a 4-on-4 out through mid. You've got Electronic and World Edit, both players here. But already over the boost, tabseN. He went aggressive actually in through A main. Going to pick up Blade. That's the bomb dropped as well. And now they know where it is. And tabseN just going to retreat back into the relative safety of this A bomb site. Looking to try and maintain that man advantage. Flipside go ahead and retrieve the bomb. Marklov's gone and picked it up. But now the aggression comes out from tabseN once again, this time through Squeaky, and he's just like a slippery fish working his way in through the back line. The snake in the grass, sorry. As he just waits for the rotates to come through. Instead, though, two players pushing up through highway. The crossfire isn't going to be set up as they're fully reliant on Next to try and hold this back. Both players peeking on out. They've walked the whole way, so we had no idea they were there. And Electronic going to be able to pick up the first. Keep pushing up towards Truck. Just going to annihilate World Edit on the peak. Returns that man advantage in favor of Big. The bomb is going to go down with both Markelov and Electronic within the site, but it's tabseN hot on their heels, coming in through A main that you've really got to watch out for. The linchpin of this round, going to spot out Electronic and just beheads him in the corner. Now it's all on Markelov, 1v3, picks up the first over towards Quad. The best spot to try and hold this back from. The nades doing some serious damage as an Incendiary to flush him out, and as it comes in, GOB going to pick him up. That's big to find themselves a 7th, a swift, fluid retake yet again of that A bomb site.
Wow, just perfect for Big. tabseN, such a key play as well. Going aggressive in main, taking that first kill, and then just, as you say, reprogressing his aggression through Squeaky to get all the information. He clears out the A site, and then he can just come in from the back to do the damage. So Big, 7-1, a dominant start. Well, I can't help but think a lot of this dominant start was off the back of the early rounds that caused Flipside to have that ping issue and therefore be down quite a few, 4-1 in fact. So hopefully they'll be able to pull back some T-side rounds, but even so, right now this scoreline is perfect here for the Germans. Looking to continue it, it's Kiev, the aggression once again destroys Waylander on B. No issue for the online king himself as Big. They take the man advantage once again. Flipside having no response. Electronic will be in through mid, but Leggy is there on the sandbags to drop him as well. And Flipside so far are just setting up for a tradeless game. 2 players down with 0 refrags coming out from this T site, and they just got to react and burst fast towards this A site.
Yeah, Markov to push in, does pick up the first entry on a tabseN. Blades here as well, just to decapitate Next, and Keeve's rotating in, but the man advantage has been equal. Keeve, he was mid-air, you're not allowed to do that. You're going to return the man advantage in favor of Big as Keeve comes in swinging. Finally, the trade could come in from World Edit, who does put it back into a 2-on-2, but Keeve buying time, denying that bomb plant, and the rotates have already well and truly arrived. It's Legia up on the rafters first to go down. It all falls onto GOB versus Markelov. A 1-on-1. Markelov tagged down to a measly 4 HP. GOB going to land the shot, and he will hit the deck. Orp going to be saved on up. Defuse to come in yet again. So Flipside, no issue getting that bomb down. It's holding the sites in the retake that's proving to be difficult.
What is happening? GOB is the clutch king of the game so far. He's having so much impact. This is the IGL we really don't usually expect to step up as much as some of the others. Obviously, some teams, for example, Astralis, have callers like Glaive who can step up, who can top frag the games. GOB is not typically one of those, but he is stomping right now. While the scoreline is a little bit off, at least in the kills and death ratio being broken from earlier, the E-bot, I think GOB is very, very close to reality. 13-0, looking very good here for the German. As Flipside, now they have again another buy thanks to not only the loss bonus but the addition of the bomb plant. But I just want to see something fast here from the T side. I want to see a fast burst onto B, a quick smoke take on A, because every time they leave it too late, it seems like it's just Big closing it out. tabseN again, with this scoreline, I would barely blame some aggression, sitting close towards A main. Not going to fully commit to that, but Flipside, they are going for the burst. Full smokes go over the A site. Only tabseN to defend. He needs to get 2 to make it worth his time. He'll start off with 1, repositioning safely. Flash allows him to peek out for more, and after a trade, it's not going to matter because Big are on a 4-on-3.
Yeah, Bonglia down, but look at this. Coming in on the flank, it's got B and Kiev. They've got to watch out. 2 players coming in from behind. Maybe a little bit more than they initially bargained for as they look to try and hold down this site. They have crossfire set up. Blade in the middle of the site. Electronic over towards Forklift and World Edit on Quad. They can lock down the necessary angles and get the trade. Blade going to take the peek, picking up the first. Electronic then going to be able to find GOB over towards A main. It falls into a 2-on-2. Make that a 1v2 as now it's all on Kiev from A main. The flank with the AWP walking out of the waiting arms of World Edit, who is no issue. Just whisking him away. It will be Big on a Flipside. Go ahead and pick up their second round there. Finally, a bit of a faster round, bit of a change of pace. It does pay off for them. They catch that A-bomb site when it's only tabseN there, and in spite of him picking up 2 frags, the retake just doesn't pull through. And I feel like a lot of that was the fact that you saw Kiev and GOB both coming in on the flank, having 2 players flanking, and seem a little bit overzealous, leaving just 2 players from Highway and Truck to try and hold back Flipside on the site. But this is going to bode well here for Flipside if they can find a couple more. You said yourself they had to chain together a couple. The only issue is the reset is looming over this T side.
Yeah, that's a real issue here. Money's been the bane of Flipside's existence, and looking like it may continue if they lose out on this round. They've got a bit of mid control. They have got Electronic boosted in the vents, and he can drop into B to go for this early round split. Sorry, only got B on the site, but he has been performing phenomenally on the retakes. Now, how can he do on the defenses? Keeve is smoked off. He uses his utility to attempt at least some kind of defense on this B site, but it's really all on Gob. He's got to do the damage as they start to push in close. Electronic is the first man to face, but he finds a kill. Keeve boosted. Look at the flicks on this man. He finds two. Blade and Electronic falling down. This man is on fire. And Big already poised for the retake as a 4v3 ensues. Flipside have got the plant, but they've got to hold on to it.
Yeah, bomb is going to be flying over towards T main, so they have got two players here to try and hold this back. Waylander alone in the site has crossfires set up with World Edit for CT. They go ahead and leave Markov to fend for himself, and Tabsing going to pounce on out. Waylander desperately trying to pull this back as him and World Edit combine and find two between them. And Waylander's locking down this B bomb site, goes ahead and picks up three. World Edit to get two, and Flipside triumphantly return with a third round on the board. And this is perfect for them. They might only keep two players alive, but they're starting to get out of that situation where they could find themselves being reset. Chaining together these rounds, they also now successfully break the economy of Big, who look like they might be force buying down on the players that can afford it, down to about $2,000. But yeah, I mean, this should be another round for Flipside.
Yeah, something very important as well. Flipside have been losing a lot of rounds. They've been doing so much damage on the rounds that they're losing. They're getting constantly 3 or 4 kills, meaning that Big have no money to fall back on. They're constantly rebuying these rifles, and now, as you can see, pistols are out after only 2 losses in a row. But what's happening here? The pistols are working. Godby, Nex, and Legia all taking a frag. They can't afford to get over aggressive here because they have no armor apart from on Nex, and Legia is very low, but he's already dropped. Waylander takes him a nice kill, but Nex looking for some aggression, looking to trade. He does succeed. It's all onto Markov, a 1v2, but Nex, what is that? 3 kills. And Big are going to pick up the round with only 1 armoured player and just pistols invested. They are getting aggressive down mid, and they completely throw Flipside off guard. And look at the money left on this T side now. They've got nothing to fall back on.
Yeah. You know, they weren't out the woods yet when it came to the reset, and that was their one chance to start to build up some money. It had to be quick and it had to be clean, and it was neither. It was a bloody mess over in mid, just a relentless torture from Big, and you can't underestimate these Germans with the pistols, something that we learn time and time again. Flipside, they're going to be the ones facing the full brunt of an economic reset. Keeve's already pushed up aggressively over towards A main. Tabson will fall early on over in mid, but Leggy's there to trade things out. Trying to stay alive as Nex comes in from highway, swinging, picking up 2 frags of his own. It's all on Blade alone and over towards B, trying to push on through. Got B is here and tagged out on measly 6 HP, but Nex, hot on his heels, just going to behead Blade over towards Checkers. The 3k for him. And that's exactly what Flipside needed to do. Have a quick, clean round. Only 1 player going down in the form of Tabson over towards mid. Keeping 4 players alive means the economy now going to start to build up for Big over on this CT side.
Yeah, that's important. As we said a couple of rounds ago, Flipside have been doing good damage to the economy, so it only took 2 rounds on this T side to allow them to be up against an eco. Not that that really helped Flipside, as Big Bit did pick it up, but it's good to see the damage is being done regardless of the lost rounds. However, it's not enough. Damage is not what they need. They need rounds. It's 10-3. They need a 10-5 half to even look respectable. And Electronic, a great way to start it off, is going to be a smoke shot. Destroys Keeve in main. We've seen this player get very aggressive early on into some of these rounds on both B and A side of the map. So to see Electronic at least reading the play was good. So Flipside, a 4v5 and maybe even a 3v5. Blade will take down the aggression on Tabson. It seems like Big looking a little bit cocky here. I can barely blame them with the scoreline proposed, but even so, it seems like they're going to start to fall out in numbers. B's got to trade something down towards B, and he's looking for the damage as he tags Waylander, but no kill successful. However, it's Legia aggression to hold off this rotation. If they split in towards A, he's going to be able to take down Waylander coming in back, but it's actually Blade moving towards middle. Legia is not aware. He goes down, and now only 2 remain for Big.
Next, waiting over in middle, does have got B to try and get their attention. The old bait and switch as they make their way out, but Nex is going to go down at the first hurdle, doesn't get anything done, and now it's all on God B alone in mid, does pick up 2 before Blade comes in and gets himself a 4th one off the ace. If Electronic hadn't have found that frag early on, maybe we could have seen that picked up, but Flipside will be going ahead and securing themselves a 4th round, desperately trying to claim a 5th. 4 rounds is really not enough on your T side. So, you know, a 10-5 scoreline is one that we could definitely see Flipside come back from. Now, this time, World Edit with the AWP, looking like he wants to take the peek out in towards middle, just going to be smoked back. So they go ahead and deny that straight away. In retort, Flipside going to be sending 4 players over here towards A. Looking like they might actually opt to boost World Edit up over in middle to try and find something. And I mean, Legia is here, very, very aggressively posted on up, waiting in the corner. And oh, Waylander, what was that? Keeping to go down on the instantaneous peak, the pre-fire to find a frag early on. Tabson does at least find an equalizer elsewhere into a 4-on-4. But they lose Keeve, who's been an instrumental player for Big. Now Legia over in middle, trying to make things difficult, picks up the first, but the pop flash comes out, and that's going to allow Blade to pounce, turning it back into a 3-on-3. It's all on God B over towards this B bomb sack to hold back the tide. That is Flipside tactics.
And Solo as well, peeking around the edge of the smoke, doesn't spot Waylander on the cross. The Tracers may give it away, but he actually just sneaks on in, as God B now has to sit here alone, as you say, needs to do the damage. No one's peeked into him yet. They don't know exactly where he is, but Markelov will predict it. Molotov goes through. He finds a kill as well. Next trades, but he drops as he comes in for the rotation, finding the bomb dropped in checkers. Tabson tries to come back in. I don't think Markelov's heard his footsteps. He's going to be completely surprising him. Finds him, and now it's all on Waylander. Sat in towards B. The bomb going to be down in checkers. Tabson just falling on back as he rotates in through middle. And it's 30 seconds left. Waylander needs to grab this bomb and go for the plant. But actually, Tabson reading this a bit differently as he moves in towards A. Maybe expecting Waylander to push in through the CT spawn. Not going to be happening for the time being. And I'm sure he'll work that out in just a second as the bomb goes down. But with no kit, Tabson's going to be stuck for time. He has to rush back onto this other side of the map. And Waylander, he has all the time in the world to get into a post-plant position. That combined with the Molotov that he has, he should not be able to lose this.
Just waiting, watching happen as Tabson clearing out CT, now going to be making his way on through into the B-bomb site. Waylander going to take the peek. Tabson spots him out and lands the shot. The 3K for Tabson, clutching it out in the 1-on-1. The defuse is going to come in. He might not have a kit, but he doesn't need one. Plenty of time left. Tabson there with the quick entry. And Waylander, perhaps, you know, getting a little overzealous, taking that peek for the information and gets caught out as a result. It will be Flipside with only 4 rounds for their CT half. Big currently residing with 11. The advantage going to be very much in their favour.
I don't know why Waylander would peek there. I understand you want to take the kill. I understand that maybe you've got some confidence, but up against Tabson, who's really not been missing a beat at all, not only this game, but also in pretty much every match he's been playing, carrying Big through every single series, it seems. Very, very confusing fight there. Maybe expecting Tabson not to be holding the angle, but a nice flick back will secure Big the round. And as you say, 11-4. A dominant half for Big over on that CT side. Considering this map is fairly equal, and given the current meta as well, equal maps have turned into more T-sided maps as of late. So it's strange to see Big with such a dominant CT side, and now moving on to their T side, kind of where God-B prevails in the calling aspect of this. I'm very worried for Flipside. Obviously, I don't think it goes without saying, you know, this is going to be a pistol or bust for Flipside. They need to pick that first round up, but even if they do, come back, I'm not too sure.
You know, if they do go ahead and pick up the pistol, they can bring it back to a 7-11 scoreline, which is a far more respectable one, and one that I could definitely see them having their resurgence on. The issue is, when we really look at it, I would say Blade's been having a hell of a lot of impact. You know, the notable names that you usually think of when you associate Flipside and, you know, the players actually making stuff happen. Electronic as well has been doing fairly good, but as for the rest of them, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. Don't really have too many high impact frags of note. Big, on the other hand, firing on all cylinders. Usually it's Tabson that we look to have the monster performances, but if anything, you know, it's been from the rest of the gang. God B's been doing phenomenally well, as you said. Keeve on the AWP as well has been just destroying these guys. So, yeah, I mean, you know, as you said, it's very important for Flipside to pick up the pistol. I don't think, you know, the comeback's necessarily as out of grasp as maybe you put into perspective if they do manage to secure it, but it's a necessity at this point if they want to stay in this.
Yeah, and no, I don't think it's completely impossible, but especially the way that Big's been playing, not even just mathematically, just looking at the confidence on these Germans, it's looking difficult. But we're going to be waiting for Blade to rejoin the server for Flipside, maybe having more ping issues, who knows. He was looking okay in terms of ping in the first half after we fixed the server, so now carrying on, it should be okay. We'll expect to be seeing him in just a minute or so, and we'll be carrying on with the second half. I would like to see how far Big go in this bracket, though, because looking at this, if they can take away this series, which is looking likely as we go into the first map, there's a really good chance they may even be qualifying for Cologne. And seeing a German team in Cologne, that's massive, isn't it, Harry? Because, again, German CS have really had their issues. We've had Malsports move further and further away, each roster change from being a German team now to only having Dennis on. Penta, I don't think we can call that a German team at all anymore, other than having Crystal. And Big are really the only 5-man German team of this level. Seeing them in Cologne would be crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love for them to be there. I mean, you know, me and you have actually worked a lot with German CS, so we kind of know like a good bit about it, and I think it's a really nice thing to see a team like Big come up out of the woodwork, and you know, one that's filled with all these players that have bounties of experience between them, but never really found success in their individual rosters. Now all kind of banding together and making what has proven to be a very deadly roster that's almost come seemingly from nowhere, as you said, only formed later this year, earlier this year, sorry. You know, and going on to have some very good achievements at a lot of events. Maybe not winning as many as they would have necessarily liked, but, you know, to put things into perspective, this is a team that forged, what is it? I think it's like back in January.
Yeah,
and
January.
have gone on to kind of becoming, you know, second place in a lot of these fairly large and fairly prestigious events, qualifying as well for a hell of a lot of things. So, you know, I think Big should definitely be impressed with that, and it's only been getting stronger if you look at their results.
Yeah, when Big formed, obviously, the first event they played just a few weeks into formation was DreamHack Leipzig, where they actually came second place. And I think that's very, you know, I was thinking at the time that was very indicative of like the Godsent thing that happened when we originally saw the old Godsent roster, before we saw, you know, the Fnatic split up with them. They came into their first event, and I think they came second in Malmo as well, if I'm correct. So, you know, and then after that, they really fell apart and achieved, to be honest, not too much. So I was thinking after Big form, they came second in their first event, and okay, this is a honeymoon period, this is like every team after a roster shuffle or change, they're going to fall back into maybe some irrelevance. But Big definitely not proving to do that, really being an effective team in that regard, so looking like they want to continue their streak, and yeah, as you say, picking up a lot of wins. Undoubtedly the best team in Germany, as they won the ESL Meisterschaft earlier on this year. They've, as we've talked about earlier, second in the Mountain Dew League due to a huge upset to Penta, who are playing extremely well that event and have been recently, and yeah, good qualifications and good wins recently for Big, so looking like they're going to continue.
And as for this right now, there is just a slight break at the half time. I think Blade just trying to really, there you go, he's finally rejoining. I was going to say, if you wanted to speed things up, go ahead and spam Idiot Casters stop talk start game in
at
chat.
Dog Ryan.
And it'll get us in that much faster. See, I can already tell because you guys started spamming, we're already in. So we ought to be seeing Flipside over on the CT side, Big on the T side as we head into the second half. Now, pistol round, as we said, is pivotal for Flipside if they want to stay in this. This is the map choice of Big. But they can't be too upset if they lose it. Moving into the next map, which is going to be Overpass, that's one that they do definitely have to pick up. But I think they would like this one to be that much closer. And already Big sending 4 players over towards A. They leave the bomb in mid. And they also have Tabson over here towards B, just watching for any early aggression.
Slow round from Big. Not going for that burst star, but they have so much utility here. So many options. They don't even have to go with their original call. If they can find a pick towards B, they can easily just use these smokes to fast play into that B site. Boost is going to come up though, and with this heavy mid control from both the combination of Markelov and Electronic, this is going to be dangerous from Big. They're not aware. The vent's not broken on the outside. So Markelov is going to be poised perfectly to deal with this one as well, with Electronic more so playing for the retake on the A site. They need to read this. Big are going to boost up. 3 players here. Smoke will go down through A, and this is just going to be the fast, you know, mid-split. Potentially this could even end up on B, depending on where Tabson heads. But here we go. Boosters come up. They're going to fight. Nice shot from Next. Takes the head off a Blade and just a bullet. And Markelov will finally return fire from vent. His surprising position, catching Tabson off guard, but Kiev still dropping damage in mid. And finally, after this, they've got a split towards A. They found 2 mid picks. This is definitely going to be an A play, especially with Markelov still causing havoc in vent. And Kiev is going to be running into his crosshairs. Markelov peeking out for a little bit more, getting hungry. But it's still a 3-on-2. And Big, okay, Next, just going to decapitate the next 2 over in middle. It's all onto Markelov, and Big have got full control of the A site. Bye. Either way, 12 rounds for Big now. Flipside are, as expected, probably going to be forcing up into the second round. It wouldn't be surprising considering the power of the pistols in this game, but Big's still going to be definitely well equipped to deal with this. They've actually got a lot of SMGs, and it would be very unfortunate if Flipside didn't force up in this position, because Big actually have 4 SMGs, a good chance for Flipside to at least exploit. But Blade's going to be saving a little bit. We have Markelov as well. Welded only investing in a Deagle, so already Flipside not really putting too much into this one.
Goppy looking to try and help out over here at this B-bomb site and gonna annihilate Markelov there on that initial peek. Keep watching mid, and it looks like some aggression could come out from Blade as he just charges in through middle. With the bomb being over towards B, Legia just waiting for anything to happen out towards this A-bomb site, just biding his time over in Squeaky. Electronic is still here. The remaining 3 players for Flipside, with the exception of Electronic, find themselves over towards that B-bomb site. The bomb is going to be picked up by Tabson as they look to make their way back over towards A. I mean, Legia heard a lot of the rotates off of that A site, so he knows that there's at most really going to only be 1 or 2 players here as they make their way on in. They've got to be fast though, because Flipside should be able to predict this. I mean, there's no more gunfire over towards that B-bomb site. There's no more nades, utility coming on through. They can't hear footsteps. I imagine we should be seeing a rotate come in sooner rather than later. Alternatively, they could wait and see if Electronic can hold this back before they even opt to do so, and then just retake based on the damage he does. He's going to be Molotov'd out a quad, trying to stay alive on the site, just fighting for survival at this point. Got to try and hold these guys back, and only gets 1. Next will fall, but the trade comes in from Kiev. Welded it now. The Deagle over towards Truck, trying to rain death from afar. He fires a couple of rounds down range. Waylander still waiting in mid. Blade on the rotate in from behind, and we might just see, you know, Waylander opt to save. He's got the armor and the 5.7. Welded, it's got a Deag. Blade might try and get some damage done, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense now for them to go into this.
Yeah, exits are the most really here for Flipside. I think they've realised that Welded it not peeking too aggressively on this car. Just trying to catch out maybe Kiva over in main, but not going to be peeking. Finally, the flash comes over. Great flash as well from Big. Going to fully blind Welded it as they push on in. There's nothing that he can do. Blade will fall down as well, and Waylander to fall last. It's going to be a clean round for Big. Only 1 death, and they keep all the other players alive, even though they are fairly tagged up. So good chance for Flipside to exploit, but now we just see Flipside with a bit of a money crisis as they go for their second eco. Even less invested into this one. They can only get pistols at a most. No armor should be brought up here from the CT side. And this is Big's round to take once again. We see the Mac 10 for Kiev, rifle back on next to play a bit safe in case Flipside went for anything, you know, to catch these guys off guard. And Big, they're just going to switch up the pace, it seems. A bit of a fast B play as they charge on in towards main. Only Waylander here. He's going to go straight down. Another B site open like a can of worms. There's nothing there to defend, and Big will surely have a free round.
Oh, and look at Kiev with the Mac 10. The Mac Daddy over in mid picks up 1 on the flank. Blade will go down to extend that man advantage that much further. Markelov gonna get impaled up towards Heaven, and now it's all an Electronic. 1v5, P250 in mid and jumping around. He will go down as Legia finds him from behind. 4-14, Big 1 round away from map point. And they might even try to go for a low investment round here and not bother upgrading any of these SMGs. And that does look to be the case. Everyone from Flipside buying down what they can. It's going to be rifles upon rifles for the CT side. Plenty of utility for them to try and expel to hold back Big. But that round was nice. A change of pace from Big, and that's very uncharacteristic of God B. Someone that we say likes to kind of play things a little bit more slowly. It did catch Flipside off guard. Now as they're stacked up outside this B bomb site yet again, we might be seeing a repeat of what we saw earlier. Waylander's going to be there on the other side of that smoke. They could even find an opener. They go for the pre-fire. He's just biding his time, waiting to see if any aggression does come out. And now going to retreat back into the bomb site. They break the window, throw the Molotov in for headshot, and now look to push on in. Up close, it's Waylander. Markelov's here to try and reinforce. He does the damage on the leg here. Waylander still somehow alive and kicking, trying to pass through the smoke. He's brushing shoulders with the enemy at this point, and they still don't know he's here. Going to come in from behind, picks up 2, looking for the 3rd, and Kiev will go down. Waylander, the smoke killer, a masseuse, and everything in between, rubbing backs with the enemies there. But he does still secure the round for Flipside.
I don't think even Waylander knew what happened that round. He was just walking around through the smoke. Big got so confused. I don't think anyone knew what was going down. That's what happens when you smoke rush, though. A bit of overconfidence for Big. And it does allow Flipside back into this game somewhat here, as they now have another round to play with. A bit more of a buffer to fall back on, with more money invested into this one. But with no AWP on World Ed, it could be a bit of a limiting factor, especially as Kiev has pulled in his, and he's been on fire so far this game. So going into this one, Blade, he is going to be opening things up in middle. Takes down Tabson. And Big, no reactive play. We have Nex actually push up very aggressively, looking for this quick trade, but nothing's going to be allowed. Flipside playing it so passively here. Nex isn't gifted a thing. And while he is pushed up in mid, Flipside are completely given up control. They're only just going to retake Z in the form of Blade, but we've got Keeve holding the angle, so I doubt we'll see him fall short in this engagement. If Blade goes for a wide peek, he should be dead instantly. Keeve just waiting, biding his time. Blade, luckily for him, going to be playing it safe, not giving away this man advantage to allow the equalization kill. Keeve will finally drop off, and Blade, again, no need for aggression. He can just spot the vents cross. When it comes to A, he's got his teammate Electronic holding very passive, so again, there's really no need for Blade to take any kind of engagement here. The pressure is being held by his teammates.
Yeah, A is going to be the deciding question. That solitary smoke going to rain on through. Got B now joining Nex over in mid as they try to push on up. Blade trying to pounce in from behind. Just going to opt to burn in the fire and flames. Electronic able to find one, but Legia now pounces in from Squeaky. And Got B still on his reign of terror up from highway. Going to be put to an end by Markelov. Well did it now, dispatching a Legia. It all falls onto Keeve, 1v3. He's been a beast with the AWP thus far. But now he's got to try and clutch this out. There's only 17 seconds left as he pushes in towards the A bomb site. Don't know why he's not just opting to go for the save here with so little time. Well did it, pouncing out from MBK. Going to be able to pick up that round for Flipside as he cements a 6th on the board. Big with very little money, looking like the players with a little bit of extra cash might be investing in pistol and armor, everyone else just keeping what they can, and we might be seeing another fast play come into fruition here with the pistols.
And keeping 3 alive as well is going to be positive for Flipside. They can build up that cash. They don't have Big constantly rattling down, meaning as soon as Big take themselves a 15th, Flipside will be eco. They'll always have something to fall back on until they lose this game. Or if they lose this game, that is, as Big. They've now got pistols, armor, scout on Legia. Aggression from Waylander in the smoke. He's done this before, looking for some similar success, and he will get away with it, taking down Tabson, but Keeve not going to be able to trade with his Deagle. The smoke is covering this position as he moves on in to replace Tabson's position here, but it's World Edit in middle. Find himself another one. There's 2. Nex is dropped as well. This is only anti-eco, but World Edit is making it work. All onto Keeve now in B main, and Markelov is there to shut him down. So Flipside, a flawless round. Good money here for the CT side, continuing this streak of rounds at least to try and bring things back. And while it is a very tough situation, we've seen similar situations with Big giving up a lot of rounds, at least in the ESEA finals that we talked about earlier, up against Ghost. Big were something like 12-3, 13-3, and they still only just won 16-13, so it's not undoable for Flipside to pull themselves back into this game, especially considering the money's good and World Edit is back on that AWP.
A barrage of utility out towards mid early on for Big to try and gain them some presence here early on. They've boosted up Electronic over towards that A bomb site. Well, then it's going to be there with the AWP to watch any aggression out towards middle, and I think that's until they can rotate Blade and Markelov around to actually peek out from Z. Currently, it's a very mid and A side heavy approach to this. Markelov now going to be rejoining his comrade over towards that B bomb site, but I think already they're going to opt to rotate these players back up towards A. The push coming up through highway. Well, then it's able to find one. The equalizer comes in as Nex does pick up Electronic. Now Legia on the backstab out through Squeaky. Gonna annihilate Well Then into a 3-on-3 we go. Bomb trying to cross in towards the site. Hasn't been able to go down just yet. Legia turning his attention to the AWP. Gonna opt to don his AWPing shoes as that bomb goes down. Tabson gonna take the aggression over towards Truck, and it might be unfounded as he takes the peek. Markelov will go down. Catches him with a nade out. That man advantage now in favor of Big. The bomb timer ticking away as Flipside find themselves on the clock. Waylander's able to find one, but Tabson's still alive and kicking. Goes ahead and gets all 3. The full Monty for Tabson. 3 frags as Big go ahead and reach map point.
He's honestly sick. How does he get away with that final kill? It doesn't make sense. Waylander should have that frag. He's facing the wrong way, but Tabson flicks back around, does the 180, and survives with 2 HP. Absolutely nutty play, and this is what we talk about when we see Big and individual performance. They have the players like Tabson, Keeve, and Nex who are always stepping up. Even Legia and Gobby occasionally have their games, but we're more so looking towards Tabson, the hard carry for this team, and the consistent AWP of Keeve as well. Or maybe more inconsistent, we'll go with that here, than consistent, but still very effective when he's on fire, and this is one of those games that he is being effective, destroying Flipside. But again, we are only on map 1. This is a best of 3 single elimination, so Flipside, even if they do lose this round, or lose this game eventually, they will have something to fall back on, and that is going to be their map pick, so it's not over just yet. Tabson in through B main. It's Waylander to defend. This time he's alone as Markelov's actually backed off. Going to reposition into the heaven, so he has a position to at least hold on. And Waylander, again, he loves these B main smokes, sitting in close. Got to hope that he doesn't get shot on through it. as he sits waiting for any kind of peek from Big. The smoke going to start to dissipate. This is where it gets dangerous. Both the two best players on Big are posted by this angle, and Waylander safely going to back off, not falling short there. Flash allowing him to peek, and he does take down Tabson, who wasn't even blinded, as now they can back off with a man advantage, but Next secures something back, taking down Blade in through middle and pulling it back into a 4-on-3.
And Next has just been the trade king for Big, and now 3 players over towards this B-bomb site. Waylander and Markelov tasked with trying to hold back as the push comes on in. Markelov watching the eventual push up towards the site, going to catch Next with his back against the wall. Got B going to fall as well, and now it's all on Kiev. 1 versus 4 this time. Makes the decision just to fall away and save the AWP. Flipside will be picking up an 8th round though. Their CT half looking above and beyond that of their T side. Going to go ahead and pick up another round. Big feeling the pressure a little bit here as the comeback somewhat looming, but still, I mean, they've got a large buffer to play around with, and they only need 1 round. They've already secured OT. Kiev just picking off enemies over towards T-spawn as he looks to desperately cling on to this AWP. They go for the pre-fire, but they don't quite find him, so he does manage to save it. They might try buying a couple of pistols here and there, or maybe even going for the force, given that Legia doesn't really have too much money, so they will be force buying down.
It was a hard reset, so it would make a lot of sense as well. There's no reason to eco this one because they won't be able to buy next round regardless, just due to the loss bonus. So actually not going to invest too much, and this confuses me, right? Because they won't be able to buy up next round anyway, so there's no reason to not to invest in a pistol armor at the very least to try and get themselves the round done. But again, Flipside are very well equipped, so maybe looking into that sense of they're very unlikely to win the round unless Kiev really does go off and get some weapons dropped for his team. But let's see what they can achieve with the little investment they do have. I'd like to see how they buy up next round as well, because I want to know the thought process behind this eco, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense on paper, but maybe Godb's got some kind of plan for it. And the plan is to get shot in middle. Does do the dink damage onto Blade, but he'll fall back after making himself known with the first frag of the round.
I mean, you know, Kiev with that AWP is a deadly beast to try and contend with. While they're going to be watching the corner when the push comes out, and he's fully blind, but Kiev still fed to the wolf. Will fall. The AWP going to be juggled onto the back of Nex, who doesn't mean that you go ahead and pick one up and return, but it's Waylander on the flank, just to be dinking these heads. Then the peek comes in from Electronic as well, perfectly timed. The communication for Flipside there, phenomenal to pick them that round up. A 9th now for Flipside.
And see, now this is...
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I was just about to say. The decision on how they opted to buy in that previous round was a very weird one, right?
Yeah.
And now looking at the money that's left.
The reason it doesn't make sense is now they have to go for some kind of half quasi buy, but if they were going to go for this kind of buy, they could have invested the same amount into the previous round and had an AWP to play around. Now they just have a quasi with no rifles at all. So surely if you're going to go for 1 quasi and 1 eco, you go for the quasi when you actually have a saved weapon, instead of ecoing that one and now quasiing without the AWP. This just makes far less sense. It's a weird one. I think it's more of a misunderstanding or a miscommunication call from Big, because there's no realistic sense why you wouldn't go for this buy in the previous round when you had Kiev on that AWP to fall back on. He's now got no money anyway because he saved that AWP in the round and got 0 loss bonus. So yeah, I don't understand this from Big. It's got to be a miscommunication because there's no other way you'd want to invest without an AWP rather than with. So yeah, either way, they will get somewhat of a buy, but it's not going to be too big. Legia has nothing to fall back on, neither does Kiev, so only 3 players investing. And the reason being is we saw a bit of investment from the previous round anyway. So yeah, a weird buy, but again, it's 15-9. They're still very close to closing this out in the next round. This is just going to be a bit of a throwaway to allow Flipside to have a little more money to fall back on.
Yeah, and if you want to speed up this whole process of the pause, go ahead and put in chat casters start game, and also tweet at us on our Twitters. Hugo's is at it's Hugo TV and mine's at just Harry GG. And boom, there you go. Because you guys went and did that, we've already gone ahead and got into this next round. Big, they're going to be at the feeling that full brunt of their poor economic decisions in the previous round. They will be force buying down on a couple of these players. But as you said, it's a very weird scenario with a kind of half force up behind them. Can they make some magic happen?
Looking like they want to go for the burst again. We saw this similar strategy as they're setting up smokes. although this time a little more focused towards middle actually, not going to go for the A-side smokes, maybe changing their decision. The boost will come through, and I'm expecting maybe a double or triple boost here, going towards A main, try and have a fast play through middle to split up highway, and with pistols, with only one defender being Blade, this could be a perfect strategy for Big to do. They can overwhelm Blade, get his gun off of him, and combined with the armor that they have on 3 of the players, this would be good to split towards A, but let's see if they can make it work. Legia throwing some smokes through that A site. Keeve as well, going to be joining him with a bit of utility, and this fast play up highway is going to be the overwhelm that we see. Blade getting completely shut down. World Ender only 1 kill, but he needs to follow up with more before he falls down. Does do so, but he's going to get overrun eventually. Doesn't matter. Electronic is there to save the day, and Keeve will pick him up, but World Ender retrieves another frag. It's Flipside to pick it up, and despite a really good setup from Big, seemed to be working out in theory. World Ender with the AWP. He's the man you expect to step up, and he does.
I mean, Legia's pushes out through Squeaky kind of made me laugh somewhat, because Electronic has played that corner time and time again, and every single time Legia just walks on out like a confused old person. He just doesn't know where to look, and he just walks into the waiting arms of Electronic and dies to it every single time. This time, a barrage of utility down through mid, but it's going to be next to find that initial frag. Markelov pushed up aggressively to try and trade things out, but now it's going to be fed to the wall somewhat, or at least you'd hope, but he somehow gets 2. And now Tabson desperately trying to pull things back into the realms of possibility, going to go down over towards mid as he gets executed out from the server, and things have gotten a little bit too fast-paced, so let's slow things down as now Keeve over in middle, gonna fall to Blade. It's all on Legia 1v3, who has been allowed to sneak up towards A main. Blade and World at it both here. The AWP and M4 combo out towards the A bomb site. Legia gonna go for the peak, but Blade, as his name implies, gonna cut his head clean off. That will be Flipside to pick up an 11th. The comeback getting ever closer, and the pressure all on the backs of Big.
This is crazy as well. We did say it was a possibility, but I didn't think it was a probability. As Flipside, from an 11-4 half to 15-11, while Big are only on the cusp of closing this game out, they're still falling short. Flipside picking up these CT rounds, as you can see, that's 4 in a row. Big, since the pistol round and the 2 subsequent anti-ecos, they've only picked up a singular round that was instantly reset onto them. And then we saw that weird buy with Keeve having the saved AWP and the rest of them ecoing. And now, again, another eco. It's going to be a bit of a throwaway. 12 rounds will be hopefully granted for free for Flipside, and then we will see the buy once again from Big. And that's the thing. They have full loss bonus. They always can buy every other round, unless they get the bomb plant, in which case they can buy every round. So this is just going to be a closeout, I can imagine. Got beat, shot down towards the forklift area as well, and the bomb plant going to give them a little bit more cash to work with. Important that Keeve got that as well, because they didn't invest more than $800, so it's definitely worth it. As we see Flipside pick up that round, 12 to 15, keeping all 5 alive. And Big, they're going to have that AWP, they're going to have those rifles as well. Flipside need to watch out now with this buy.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the players of that from Big have been in utter desperation. Let's not forget, at one point in time, this was an 11-4 scoreline in favor of Big. We actually saw them reach 15 rounds relatively quickly as well. 15-7, I recall, was the scoreline when they eventually managed to get to that point. And since then, Flipside have had a monster comeback out through mid. We are going to be seeing 2 players go next. Going to be over towards here. Actually now trying to take engagement alone. Held back for the time being as the rest of his team turn their attention towards A main, but Electronic's gone aggressive and he's still doing damage. Has to watch out because Tapton's here to try and trade things out, but it doesn't matter. The smoke's there, but not for Electronic as he shuts down a second. And now Well Did It watching the push up through highway with the AWP, just going to decimate this initial peak on out. Electronic, what's going on? He's on fire. Finally going to be shut down by Keeve, who now finds himself 1v4, the flank coming in from behind as Waylander just holding his ground. They're all going to push him at the same time, and Keeve's life expectancy is about 6 seconds at this point as he looks to try and hold on to the AWP. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. The pop flash is raining on in. He does find Well Did It, but Waylander's there to put him down at 13-5.
Yeah, and a pause from Big. I barely blame this one. This is going to have to be a buy. They can throw over the AWP. Nex has money to body armor AWP. You will have to substitute the head armor and all utility with it, but at this point it's got to be worth it. The only issue is their utility is going to be pretty limited in comparison to some kind of full buy coming out from Big. There's no way they can realistically eco this round just because of the money that they have, but they have to distribute, whether they want that AWP, whether they'd rather the double utility players on both Keeve and Nex. It's a difficult one to judge up, so maybe taking their time to work out what they want to do in the round before they actually commit to the buy-in, and that's why it's a very slow one. Typically you'll instantly just see an AWP bought up and thrown over, but this is getting very, very close, so we have to have Big work out whether utility is important into this next take. To be honest, Flipside have done a phenomenal job of bringing it back. We've seen some star performances from players like both Electronic and World Edit, who have really been shutting down this map. Even Waylander having his rounds from time to time in through B. And we are going to see the rifle buy. We're not going to be seeing next throw over that AWP to Kiev, meaning that they clearly want to focus on the utility coming into this round. That's going to be a far more important decision. And the buy-ups will come through. Not sure where Kiev's gun is, but he's going to be picking it up. It's there in middle. So Big looking to close it out here, because if they don't pick up this round, they need a bomb plant. That's all they need, because they'll get 3,400 in the accounts after this round from the loss bonus. Combined with zero money here they have saved other than Nex. They need a bomb plant to give them that extra little boost to allow them to buy up fully next time. Otherwise, we may be even seeing OT in the first map of this series.
Time Big then. They look to turn their attention over towards A main in its entirety. All 5 players here as they go for a bit of a rush tactic. That is very against the ordinary for God B, who does like to take things slower. And Tapson just going to opt to roast in the fire and flames down to a 26 HP. Leggy does at least find the equalizer out onto Electronic, who doesn't do as good a job holding down the site this time. And this could be the round for Big. The bomb going to be going down any second now. Tapson watching the flank. No one's going to be here, although they is the smart move to make, seeing as Flipside have sent someone on the flank almost every single round. However, they've kind of dedicated a lot of people here. Legia, he's still clicking on heads, and actually they're going to opt to boost Tabson up to go on the flank of his own in through mid. The 3 remaining players for Flipside trying to retake this A-bomb site, sorry. Apparently I can't read. And well, Markov going to go down. This could be the turning point here for Big. They might finally be able to do it. World Edit and Waylander coming in for the retake. Waylander does find one. A 2-on-3 now. Got B holding down the site, peeking on out, and then Kiev with the final onto Waylander. He will go down, and Big, they go ahead and win out the first map by the skin of their teeth.
Really weird round as well. Blade just jumping into the site before any of his teammates join him, allowing Legia to get that pick and allowing Flipside to lose from a 4-on-4 back to a 4-on-3, which was then the start of their problems because Tabsum splitting in through middle was a perfectly timed boost. So it's nice to see Big doing stuff like that, catching on Flipside, knowing they'd be going for the slow retake as they regroup over through car. And yeah, great round for Big. They actually finally managed to close that without that AWP on Kiev. So that'll be the first map concluded, ladies and gentlemen. We will be heading to the second, which is the map pick of Flipside, DE Overpass, coming up very shortly. But until we get to that, we're going to be jumping in for a short break, and hopefully we'll be back with Overpass very, very soon. Stick around.